Welcome, retail traders. This is the Vegas and Jim weekly play of the week video, and we're going to be talking a little bit about Tesla, our big winner last week, and it's really been our top dog for a very long time. Miss Vegas is going to speak, so have at it, Miss Vegas.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us in another episode of the Vegas and Jim play of the week. And so we had a very interesting week across the board. Market was actually pretty strong. And usually the month of July can have some periods of strength. So I wouldn't be surprised that this coming week we'll see some continuation. And then we'll see what happens the week after. Could have some pullbacks, healthy pullbacks though. So we'll definitely see what the market wants to do. But very impressed with Tesla. What a week. That stock had some phenomenal moves. I mean, people were like in shock how much Tesla moved. I mean, it had a beautiful breakout. And it looks extremely bullish still for continuation. Remember, they do have earnings coming up. I believe it's July 17. And then we also have Robotaxi coming up, and Jim's going to talk a little bit about that. So we do have two catalysts coming up with Tesla. And I will talk about some interesting options flow that I also noticed for those of you that like to trade options. In terms of the strike, the expiry date that you can check out, tomorrow when the market opens. Maybe it's something you're interested in trading. So, Jim, I'll turn it over to you to talk about Tesla's price action on the chart this past week, and then you could show us this Robotaxi that everyone's talking about.
All righty. Well, Tesla's definitely had a nice little breakout. Now, this was the most talked about stock out there for many years. On both cases, good and bad. But we've always loved Tesla, and we definitely broke out to the 250 area, which was our long target on Tesla. Now, they might be starting, you're going to see upgrades in price range. Just go down to your news, and you can start seeing different fluctuations of where the prices are going to be going. With some have said 350, some said 275, 250. So we're definitely at a breakout stage right now. We definitely had a nice little breakout from 167 on down. Now, I love Tesla, but you'll hear CNBC badmouth that there's not their one they want to be pumping at all. Definitely our next target is going to be right around that 260 area for Tesla, and the pullback surprise I think will be here on the 1 hour. We're going to clean this all up. If I can get it on there clearer. I'm using the 1 hour time frame, and you could be using the 21 as support level for the moving average. That's the 21 EMA. Now on the weekly, I always like to look at that weekly. We've got the 200 for a low support. Pretty sure that's 200. No, that's a different trend line. No, that's the 200 SMA. Right there around 231 for low support. And then on the daily, if you look at the daily, we're just trying to find a place that we're going to catch it at. And that's way too low. That's right around the $200 area. So that, and you had these three big white soldiers. So the bottom of that first soldier will be probably the lowest support to keep this momentum going. And that's no lower than 234, 235 area. And then here on the 1 hour, day 1 hour, definitely the 50 SMA would be your lowest spot. So right around that 234, 235. I have a first support at 241.07. We could easily duck down here and hit this bottom part of this here Friday's low, which is right around 246.13 to keep it very bullish. If not, your second support no lower than 239.41 with a very low support to keep it within sound support of the 50 SMA on the 1 hour at 234, with our next target for 260.
Oh my God, that's a juicy move there.
Yepers. And it's your turn. Anything
All right.
else?
So before I add to that, to Tesla, I want to ask you, would you buy a Tesla SUV or electric vehicle, whatever they want to call them? Would you buy one for yourself or no?
I would.
Really?
Oh yeah.
You're a fan of the electric vehicles?
Well, I'm definitely would have it in my garage.
Would you
And it
drive
would be
it?
only the Tesla. Yeah, I'd drive it. I'd drive it back and forth to work in the city, playing around with. Yeah. It would be
Okay,
a lot,
well,
lot less. Well, you won't have to worry about gas. You don't have to worry about changing oil. It's been long enough now to where the cars are the number one seller. The other companies can't compete with them. So yeah, I'm definitely a lover of Elon Musk. I'd definitely have one.
well, you know what? That's great. I mean, me personally, I mean, I do like the look of the outside of the car, but I just honestly, I just do not like the interior. I think it's too plain. But remember, he said it's a boring company, so no one. That's probably why the interior is pretty boring.
Yep.
But I keep hearing good things about the cars and the SUVs. People love them. People that love technology are loving the Tesla cars. So, you know, you have to love the car, love the company to own one. I don't think people that don't like electric vehicles will buy one. But that doesn't matter because, I mean, the company's still doing very well. And Elon Musk, people love him as a CEO. And they're very excited about what's to come. And so we have this Robotaxi, Jim, coming up.
Yep.
So it's another catalyst. So we have earnings. So we have two catalysts coming up. Okay, guys. We have one catalyst the month of July. We have earnings coming up on apparently July 17. So that's one catalyst for Tesla. So for those of you that trade options, okay, I am seeing a lot of options flow on the July 19 expiry. So this is going in, holding it into earnings, and that's a risk. So if you do take the options into earnings, you know that can go to zero, okay? Because it's all about the guidance. But I am seeing a lot of interesting flow on the 250 calls, which closed at 1175. And I'm seeing some interesting flow on the 260s, which Jim said is the potential next target on Tesla. We also have a lot of interesting flow on the 275s and also on the $300 calls, a lot of flow there. And those are about $1.44 each. And I saw some crazy strikes for the 350 calls at 24 cents, expiring July 19th. So those of you that like to buy the cheap contracts that, you know, you buy them sizing for zero, that could be one you research and check out and see if you like it. But remember, it could go to zero, so you don't want to be buying 100 of them and then lose all your money. Because with options, that's exactly what happens. If it doesn't work out with the earnings and the guidance, your contracts go to zero. So let's see, Jim. We got Robotaxi coming up, and I sent you an article there on Robotaxi. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but it says here that they're going to host a long-planned Robotaxi event on August 8th. And so this Robotaxi is going to be very interesting. And, you know, they're debating whether or not this is going to be, you know, something that people are going to want. It's going to be a new Robotaxi businesses that can lead to recurring sales of software. And Teslas who want to use their vehicles in a Robotaxi network or simply stop paying attention to the road safely would actually pay up for this service. So they don't, you know, Teslas don't really drive themselves just yet. But they did say, you know, Google's Waymo division has a fleet of autonomous taxis expanding slowly across the country. So a lot of investors are interested in Alphabet's self-driving unit, kind of faded, but Tesla's Robotaxi Day and Waymo expansion in Austin and California could reignite the street interest, according to Bank of America's analyst Justin Post. And he doesn't really cover the Tesla stock because the guy that I know covers it a lot is Wedbush. Okay, Dan Ives, he is amazing. He's a good follow on Twitter. If you guys ever want to check out his Twitter feed, it's at Dives Tech. So maybe I'll send this over to Jim. He could show you guys that. And he's a very good follow. If you're not following him already on Twitter X, I suggest you check him out. He's very good about commenting on everything tech, and he is a great, great follow. And by the way, he's so humble and so friendly and so nice. So, and he's always on TV all the time, so he's a good follow. Going back to Tesla's Robotaxi, so they're saying that the autonomous vehicles are worth for Alphabet is debatable, but it could be enough to move the needle, according to Barron's magazine. And the autonomous vehicle market is vast. And so assuming Waymo captures 3% of the U.S. miles driven at $1.60 per mile, we get to $144 billion revenue opportunity. And there's a few valuations for Tesla's Robotaxi opportunity. Morgan Stanley analyst Adam Jonas values Tesla's mobility and software opportunity at about $500 billion. That is crazy. And Royal Bank analyst Tom Narayan says that the Tesla Robotaxi business at just north of $400 billion. So that is something interesting to watch. Also, Kathy Wood, she's the most aggressive, projecting the hailing revenue of the Robotaxi around $600 billion annually, she says. And she values the Robotaxi business at about $5 trillion. I mean, Kathy Wood, she's really amazing at forecasting or fetching with this. And by the way, Wedbush, Dan Ives, who I just mentioned about him, he expects the stock to get to as high as 275 within the next year. And his call is far lower than Kathy Wood's, but he also sees big gains ahead thanks to the self-driving cars. So keep that in mind with Tesla. And some of them are saying the stock's worth $350. So a lot of different forecasts. But again, the time frame, it's not going to be $350 this week or this month. Anything's possible with Tesla. It could very easily go to 300 maybe after the earnings, depending on the guidance and maybe by year end. So I would say that a lot of people are saying their bull case is around $350 for the stock, finding success on FSD and the autonomous future. So we'll see what happens after earnings, because anyone can say anything about the stock right now, but earnings is coming up, and that's going to be, catalyst for the stock. And then we got Robotaxi being another catalyst. So those are my thoughts on Robotaxi, and I gave you some ideas on what I'm seeing here with Tesla options flow. So keep a watch on what Tesla's going to do this week. It is very bullish according to what I'm seeing here as well. And I like Jim's target as well. Jim's target's really nice, 260. And Jim says he would buy a Tesla. So I love that, Jim. So I hope you buy one and give me a ride on it.
I sure will. Great on gas.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to put any gas.
No.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a great week. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. This is Vegas and Jim. Have a great day. And have a great week.